What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 375 of the Hoots Podcast. As our road to 400 episodes continued here on this Thursday, August 24th, 2023. As I'm talking to you live from the Break Free Room here in Chicago, Illinois. It's your boy Joshie, the nefarious brother Adam. Here for another special edition of the Hoots Podcast. Gonna be a little different vibe. This week, this is going to be one of the more difficult episodes to record in the 7 years we've been doing this podcast. I've been, to say that for understatement that this week in the world of wrestling has been shitty is the understatement of the year. First and foremost, I want to send my condolences to the family of Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, who we both lost this week. Terry yesterday, and just about a couple hours ago, I found out that Bray Wyatt passed away, and it hasn't really hit me yet. And this is one of the more numbing feelings I had in a while. And I've always had deep respect for Terry Funk and what he's done in his career, and understanding his legacy in the world of professional wrestling. And especially Bray Wyatt, seeing his rise from NXT to everything he's done in WWE. Bray has always been one of my personal favorite wrestling characters of all time. And to see this happen under these circumstances, it's just so very unfortunate and sad. It's like you know, and I ain't saying this just to say it, but it's true. Like, I don't know how to put in words yet what type of loss is going to be, because Bray's not just a guy you look back for the impact and the content that he produced on the shows, but what he stood for as a human being and the man he was, and that's the thing that's hitting me the most. My thoughts go out to JoJo and his kids, Bo Dallas, who I met before, was a great person, his father, IRS, and his mother. It's heartbreaking, man. It really is. Like, and I expressed this before so many times on the show, man. We cannot take shit for granted. This life is not guaranteed. We're not guaranteed anything. So it really pains me, man, when I see people waste energy on shit that don't matter at the end of the day. Appreciate what people like Bray Wyatt or Terry Funk in the matter contribute to professional wrestling, man. We have the best form of entertainment on the planet, and we all take it for granted for meaningless bullshit. And then we all want to come together and embrace wrestling when people are gone. You got to be present, man. That's how I live my life, man. I can't think about where I'm going to be 5 to 10 years now. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be here tomorrow, I have to be in the moment, and Bray's definitely going to be missed. Terry's going to be missed, obviously. I'm glad that he's no longer in pain. Terry Funk's been dealing with a lot of bad health issues over the last couple of years. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. It's going to be a little more of a tribute show for Bray and Terry Funk. If you are watching this live and you want to share any memories for Bray or Terry, let us know in the chat box here or in the comment section down below. But I'm not alone this week for the podcast. This week, I am joined by my good brother Sam Piopo at Second City Sam, making a return to the podcast this week. Sam, what's going on, my man?
Josh, it's good to be here. Unfortunately, we're in some unfortunate circumstances, but I'm happy to be here with you nonetheless to shoot the shit and obviously pay tribute to the late great Terry Funk and of course Bray Wyatt, who we just found out just a couple of hours ago passed away.
It's so I've seen a couple reports here and there, and there's been talks about what's been going on with him. He's been Bray specifically was dealing with some issues. Sean Ross Sapp just posted that he was allowed permission to say that he was dealing with a COVID issue recently, and relative to the heart, and he had a heart attack. Thing. So that's what happened. Wow. And this stuff still strikes people, and that's the thing when like I see people like make jokes about people that are still wear masks or whatever, even if it's not even like a political thing. Like until we figure out that this shit is gone, it's not done yet, you know. So Bray passed away at the age of 36. Terry Funk fortunately just passed away at the age of 79, and both come from extensive wrestling families, historic wrestling families. The Funks in West Texas, and Bray, obviously, his father, Mike Rotunda, had a great career. I mentioned Bo already. It's a rough one. It really is. And when I think about Bray, especially when he was coming back, like you see the emotion of how much the respect from the audience meant to him when he came back, because Bray was in some way trying to step in shoes of what the Undertaker and his type of character was represented in WWE specifically. And I know that a lot of people have their particular taste of what they like on their wrestling show, but even then, like I just didn't know why people would take the time to not appreciate what Bray was able to produce from a versatile standpoint. It was always like, oh, you got to focus on this thing, and oh, that's just Bray Wyatt. Why you got to put him in a box? Like he was so versatile in a lot of ways that, and so even for people to say that he couldn't have good matches, like I was like, what are you talking about? Like what?
It just seemed like everyone was always so nitpicky with Bray, just because I feel like they understood how good that he should be. I guess. To me, he's one of the most phenomenal minds in wrestling history. The guy was so damn creative. He could talk his way, into your TV, and you're focused, laser focused on everything he said. To me, I mean, despite everyone being nitpicky about Bray, he's personally he's one of my favorites. He got me back. Well, he helped bring me back into wrestling when I had a short, like maybe 5-year span where I fell out of love with the sport. But seeing Bray Wyatt, I flipped the channel on one time. I see Bray Wyatt, it's like, hey, this is pretty damn interesting, and he was one of the guys who helped me to come back, man. And I don't know, it's just a damn shame, man. I really love Bray Wyatt.
For those who are just tuning in right now, if you have any favorite matches or promos that stood out the most to you from Bray Wyatt. Also, Terry Funk, too. Terry Funk was a mastersmith in the storytelling standpoint. When you look at guys like Eddie Kingston or Jon Moxley, et cetera, Terry Funk has a major influence on a lot of those type of wrestlers. But, of course, everybody knows about his connection with Mick Foley. Even a testament for Terry Funk in the stage he was in his career. I heard this earlier. He wrestled from the late 60s all the way to 2017. That's insane. And even during the late stage of his career, he was part of that infamous Hell in a Cell match.
Yes, he was.
Just to give Mick time to get himself gathered and all that, and he's taking choke slams, getting his ass kicked by the Undertaker, all the stuff with Chainsaw Charlie, and
I'll never forget his shoe flying off after that choke slam.
Another one. There's I think it was ECW One Night Stand 2006. Not the first one, the second one at the Hammerslam Ballroom. It was him and Mick Foley as no, my bad. It was Mick Foley and Edge as heels against Tommy Dreamer and Terry Funk in a tag team hardcore match. And Terry Funk is him and Mick Foley did a flaming table spot. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Terry Funk is a legend, man. When I still had my job going on, I would cover the NWA every weekend. They had this like little series where they were going back on old performers that had an impact on the history of the brand. And I ran into an old 2 out of 3 falls match that he had with Harley Race, and it's phenomenal. For all the brawling and everything that came with Terry Funk, and him really being like that old school veteran that helped ECW go to the next level. Terry Funk had a big career just as a good technical wrestler too, know. Yep. And there's promos to go check out. I played some of them already. If you guys checked out the audio version of the show, you've heard some of these promos already. But him saying forever, forever, forever on a WWF show after winning a big match. And man, I was kind of dreading this type of moment because I kind of felt this was coming with Terry because he's been dealing with a lot of issues. So it's sad, obviously, whenever we lose anybody that we enjoy watching over the years, but never want to see people in pain, too.
No,
so
for sure. Definitely one of the most fearless professional wrestlers of all time.
So, going back to Bray Wyatt, these past couple of years haven't been easy for him, obviously, and a big part of the show has always been about promoting mental health. And I was telling Sam about this earlier before we pressed record. I remember this specifically. I think in the early stages of the show, when it was me and Adam recording all the time, we did a tribute show to Chester Bennington. I think it was the day after he passed away, and we did a show. And Chester's one of my personal favorite singers of all time. And he was another person that was big on mental health, and Bray's talked about it a lot, dealing with grieving, losing Brody Lee. They've had a deep bond. I love the shirt, man.
Thank you.
I love the shirt. Yeah, Bray's been another wrestler that's been big about mental health and the importance of that. And I just want people that are watching or listening to this to understand that you're not weak if you find yourself in a vulnerable position, okay? I think we could get past the whole dick measuring contest of what's a man if he or doesn't cry. I think that's a little passe. There's only so much you can let stuff fester inside you, and for anybody to be naive to think that you're not feeling numb or empty inside, I just think you're being delusional. And I look at Bray, man, just to see the strength and courage that he's had through the situations he's gone through, and he's just a powerful man, that's the thing. Like, obviously, to see what happened, which caused his unfortunate demise, is just heartbreaking, obviously, because a lot of people were excited to see what he was going to do when he came back. There was an injury first, and then we got into this issue, and people were kind of speculating whether or not he was going to come back to TV and see what was going to come next for him. And then, again, that's like, I appreciate what you have, man. Like, appreciate, you got to be present, man. And I recommend people go check out his media scrum from the Royal Rumble, I believe. It was the post show, the Royal Rumble press scrum after he had that Mountain Dew pitch black match with LA Knight. And he was talking about how much his character is important to him and his legacy and why he's doing what he's doing. Like, you get a little glimpse of why he put so much thought and effort into the things, and there's a lot of different iterations. I loved the Firefly Funhouse, the John Cena Bray Wyatt cinematic match, the Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania 36 was really cool. One of my favorite gifs or memes, whatever you want to call it, they had you remember the part where he's like, "You can look, but you can't touch." The John Cena. It just popped me really big because I remember being in that shithole known as the Citrus Bowl at Camping World Stadium for WrestleMania 33 when I saw John Cena propose to Nikki Bella, and then a couple years later he throw it at his face. And I really grew even deeper love and appreciation for Bray when he was doing that Firefly Funhouse skit, because when I was working at the tattoo shop, we would have Raw in the background, and one of my favorite parts of that night, because I used to work at nights. For those who don't know, I used to work at nights at a tattoo place that my uncle owns called Infamous Ink, and we would have Raw in the background, and one of my favorite parts of that shit would always like hear Bray do those vignettes, or even when him and Alexa Bliss got together and the stuff, they had really good chemistry on TV and they had a great run with each other. But I have a lot of favorite things that stand out to me. Bray, I'll mention that a little later. But Stan, what other things stood out from Bray's career that meant a lot to you?
I mentioned that he helped bring me back, but when I was back and I was watching every week, I did a show with our friend Joe Cerna at the Illinois Media School, and every single week we would play the Bray Wyatt promo from the Raw or SmackDown before, just because and that sticks with me because it just goes to show that he was always one of the most entertaining parts of the show. You know, he draws you in, he makes you watch, and he makes you pay attention, and it just I'm a guy who needs more than just a solid wrestling match to stay invested.
Yeah.
And Bray Wyatt brought all of that. He brought the charisma, the mic skills, the behind the scenes. I don't even know the word for it, but the creativity that he brought with him. It sticks with me. The promos, the like you said, the vignettes. Everything he did with the Wyatt family was just so damn good. And it's just it's a real shame. But what we can say is that he left us with a hell of a lot of memories of watching him. That's for sure.
Right. I found a clip from this Royal Rumble scrum. I want to play it for you guys if that's okay. Let me do this really quick. Let me find this really quick. So, okay, I think I got it here. Just 1 second. Okay, here we go. Should get going here. Okay, let's play a little bit of this.
There's some people that like new concepts and people that take risks and things, and then there's people that don't just because they don't. It's a sport to some, and it's a show to others. But I think the beautiful thing about wrestling in this industry is that there's something for everyone. And I've always kind of prided myself on the fact that I'd be willing to take risks and do things that no one's ever done, because in my opinion, if you're not willing to do that, then what are you doing here? It's about leaving a legacy for me, and I would do pretty much anything, especially if no one's ever done it before, because I know that people will notice it, and it's fun for me.
Let me play that last part right there, which is the most important part.
The people will notice it, and it's fun for me.
Pro wrestling is fun, man.
That's all it should be.
It's on you whether you want to enjoy wrestling. and that's the biggest thing. You know, um, there's been a lot of different tributes, obviously, that have been posted here on Twitter since it's been going on. I'll read one really quick here from Alexa Bliss. She said, "I'm just as shocked, extremely heartbroken, and at a loss of words. What can I say is what an amazing human being Wyndham is. Amazing friend and one of the most creative minds to ever walk this earth. Wyndham, you've brought so much joy and happiness to everyone around you. It's going to take me some time to really process this. Sending my love to Rotunda family and JoJo. We love you, Wyndham." Another little tie-in that Bray had with this particular show is the Woken Universe, the Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy feud, and how many times do you hear me or Brother Carter go, "No," or "Yes"? And Bray Wyatt was the adversary for Matt Hardy at the time, and I think about a month or two ago, I rewatched their cinematic match at the Hardy compound. I forgot which name of the deletion was.
Was it the Ultimate Deletion?
Something like that. The Ultimate Deletion. So that was just another one of my favorite things for Bray, and you know, I was we were both there actually for WrestleMania 34 when he came back and helped Matt win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. You remember that?
That's right. Yes, I do. In
New Orleans.
No.
Bray Wyatt's had a lot of great feuds and matches over the years. I remember specifically the Royal Rumble that he had with Daniel Bryan, which is, looking back on it now, it's so silly that people were so pissed that night that he wasn't in the Royal Rumble. It's because it was so silly that you're just gonna forget the fact that Bray beat this guy clean during the show, right? And then he's miraculously gonna be recovered to win a Rumble match. But that's another show for another time. But like, you know, not even that. Like, I remember in Chicago there was I think it was a Last Man Standing or something like that he had with John Cena. I think that was one of my favorite matches that they had with each other. Of course,
I love the Elimination Chamber from 2017. That's one of my memories that I popped so freaking hard because I was such a fan at that time.
Right, that's when he won the WWE title. That was a special moment. Even for me, another special one was his match with Undertaker at WrestleMania. I got to be there for that one.
31, right?
Yeah, WrestleMania 31. You got to know how important that match had to meant for him. Not even, just think about this. Going back to January of this year, Raw 30. You know, where Undertaker shared that moment with him and LA Knight, and he's whispering stuff in his ear. It's crazy, man. Like, Undertaker's doing like a one-man show tonight in Louisville, Kentucky. Oh. So I can't even imagine what he's thinking right now.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, that's gonna be that'd be a hell of a show to be at. That's for sure.
What else I could point out? You know what? This wasn't like a long rivalry, but I remember the Wyatt family specifically. They were having matches with the ECW originals. Those were some fun matches. Like, if you go back and watch those with the Dudleys and Rhino and Tommy Dreamer, I think it was. This was like this crazy match that went all over the arena and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably the most legendary rivalry for the Wyatt family is the Shield matches. Yeah, man. I love to know what you guys think. Like, what other matches or promos stand out for you for Bray's career? You know, some people may be indifferent for the stuff that he did with Randy Orton. I liked it for the most part.
I had no problem with it until the WrestleMania match.
Yeah. So let me mention this really quick. Going back to Terry Funk. This thinking about the different impact he had in the territories, but also ECW. I don't think the ECW would have made it the way it was if there wasn't like a Terry Funk in the locker room. And this is kind of the stuff I kind of bring up before with like AEW, where they don't have a guy like Terry Funk to like police like the locker room.
Legitimacy.
Yeah. I guess you could say Chris Jericho does that for AEW to a certain extent, but even then, his ego's too big to nullify the thing. Like, I saw him today say something that, the brawl out incident didn't fracture the locker room. I'm like, what? Was it like 2 weeks later, Sammy Guevara and Andrade got into a fight? But Terry Funk, man, he's a man's man. That's what he was.
Yes, sir.
Terry Funk, man, I'm definitely gonna look forward to see some of his older matches. There's I know a lot of people are talking about a match that he had with Ric Flair. I think it was in 1989. That's some matches I need to go back and watch. Hoodie was telling me that he had a match with Ric Flair for the title. I had to look into that. Terry Funk, man, he would have worked in this era or any era of wrestling. And, I don't know what wrestler today would compare the most to him. I could say maybe Eddie Kingston, but also to a certain extent, I could compare Randy Orton to Terry Funk too, in another sense. But yeah, so this is gonna be difficult, man. It's I didn't want to come on here and give you a disingenuous point of view of my thoughts, because it still hasn't hit me yet. Like, it's probably gonna hit me tomorrow or another time, and I'll be more openly emotional about it. But it's just, again, another reminder of what we have to be present in what we're dealing with our life, man. Because go ahead.
I just hope people are checking on Eric Rowan, man. Because that's got to be so freaking hard for him. Losing two brothers like that in the span of just a couple of years. I mean, that guy. I hurt for everyone involved. His kids, his friends, his family. It's just a damn shame, man. It really, really is.
Rowan, Braun Strowman too.
Yeah, that's true.
You got check in on your people, man.
Yes,
reach out to them, man. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Terry Funk's family and Bray Wyatt's family. If you guys want to share any memories or thoughts on both Terry and Bray during the show, let us know in the chat box here on YouTube, or even on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast at Second City Sam. We'll give you guys a shout out on the show as we continue on here. Sam, you ready to answer some questions, my man?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, it's time for the Back Porch Q&A session. Let's throw up the X. Let's lighten up the mood here a little bit. Let's give a shout out to the good brother Chris Zaletta at XTeamZaletta24X on Twitter. I do this to myself. I say, let's bring in some positivity, and here's his first question. Here we go. What up, Ooze? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Your thoughts on the White Sox recent firings?
What? Bring it on, Joshie. Let's see what you got, baby. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna mute my mic for this one. Hang
on. When they say the struggle is real, the struggle is real. It doesn't matter if you fucking send the White Sox to Nashville, to fucking Dakota. Yeah, exactly. What? Atlanta. What? It doesn't matter what city in the world you put the White Sox in. The team is still gonna be ass. Sell the team for the love of God. The fact that Tony La Russa, after you fired the guy a season prior, you bring him in to be a fucking consultant for what? A shitty ass team with no competency. You bring him as a consultant for what? To enable Tim Anderson, who doesn't want to be a leader on the ball club, or Eloy Jimenez, who doesn't care one way or another what he's doing? Yeah. I always had to hear those clips from Jason Benetti. Oh, thanks, Cubs. Thanks to Cubs for what? They won the trade. There you go. You want my real take on it. The Cubs won that trade.
That, my friend, is a hot take right there.
It is a hot take because Eloy is a bust. There you go.
But Dylan Cease isn't.
Okay, there's one silver lining. And that's a Cub fan bringing that up. So, see, Chicago fans are not all irrational or paranoid. We could give credit where credit's due.
Don't worry though. Don't worry though. We got Nick Madrigal now.
Oh God.
That works.
I'm just at the point of no return with this franchise because it's like last week I give them the CLAHN of the Week award, and rightfully so. Now they fire Kenny Williams. That was 10 years too late. And you get rid of Rick Hahn, who's a sacrificial lamb, because you wouldn't let him pick the guy he wanted after you guys wanted to get done with Rick Renteria. No, we had to bring in the old man. Late in 70s, Tony La Russa. And that team got into the playoffs in spite of him.
And you know what? An argument could be made that Rick Renteria should have never been fired.
Yeah. Guess what? Ozzie Gaines should have been fired too. But no, we got to hear Kenny Williams. And, it's all about me. I'm controlling the White Sox. By the way, I heard this story the other day on Cap and J Hood, a great show you should check out on ESPN 1000 every morning. This is a legit story. So Cap is doing like a show, like a talk show, our talk show at NBC Sports Chicago with Ryan McGuffey, who's the head of the White Sox concept at that station. Cool dude, very talented at what he does. And they said there's like disappointment with the White Sox, blah, 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 and giving credit to Rick Hahn for trying to reshape like the potential for the team, right? Because there was, for a little bit, some buzz about where the White Sox could go. And then the next day, Cap is at Comiskey Park. No, I'm not calling it fucking guaranteed rate. It's just guaranteed bullshit. That's the guarantee rate. Just pure and other bullshit. But back to the story. So Cap gets to the ballpark. Kenny Williams yells at him, Cap, get over here. Cap, get over here. And he's throwing F-bombs. Who the fuck is this Ryan McGuffey? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, why are you taking your anger out on me? And Kenny Williams is like, I don't care who Rick Hahn is or whatever. I'm still running the White Sox. Nothing in this organization gets said or done without my consent. This is my team. Rick Hahn doesn't own shit. This is my team, basically. That's the gist of what he was saying to Cap. So he wanted to vent this frustration out to Ryan McGuffey. So Cap called him, and Ryan got a ear lashing at him.
Why is that so believable?
Because it's the White Sox. It's Jerry Reinsdorf. Literally, I had this conversation the other day with one of my uncles. Jerry Reinsdorf right now currently is the worst owner in sports. Dan Steiner being gone from the Washington football team. Now that moniker has been passed down to Jerry Reinsdorf now. So
now does that go for the Bulls too?
Yes. No, the Bulls do not get a pass in this situation. I don't say we stinks just because one of our teams suck. It's just the city of Chicago sports sucks. That's what it is.
That's true.
Folks, can you guys like help me out? Make some T-shirts where I'm not the best when it comes to this stuff. I've been wanting to like sell some shirts for a while. If we could get like a We Stinks T-shirt, or we could finally upload that beautiful. And I mean beautiful. Let me pull it up here, actually, so we can take a look at it for ourselves. This beautiful Picasso piece that our friend Joe Cerna made for us here. Look at this beauty.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, you wouldn't want to get that in a hoodie or a T-shirt or something like that? Hell, even like as a phone case, I would get that. I would get that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
And this is not even in trying to be disrespectful to the man upstairs. This is oh Lord. The irony is that he put Punk and the Elite next to each other, which is funny to me. The rest are just Good God. But seriously, can we get that? Can we get Weak Stinks on a T-shirt or that picture on a T-shirt, please? Someone help me out here. We got to pump out some merch here on the podcast. But my thoughts are, okay, then what? There's going to be no progress with this team until Jared Reiser sells it. And that decision does not only affect the White Sox, but that also affects the Bulls. Because it's the same thing. You could shuffle in general managers here and there, and it's going to be the same cycle. Your organizations are the reflection of the people who lead it. Hey, Tony Khan, pay attention. So, me saying that, I'm going to celebrate and play Kool and the Gang and play that song that Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams lost their job does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. So that's my thoughts on my White Sox being a freaking CLAHN show.
Good question, Chris.
Bastard. And that's also a question I got from Mike this week, so you guys get a combo platter there. Favorite match from Multiverse 2? I did not get a chance to watch that show yet, Chris, so I have to go check it out. So Impact over the weekend at the ECW Arena had a joint show at New Japan. I gotta go check it out. All right. I'll let Sam answer this one so I could do it in the main event segment. Who walks out of All In the AEW champion, MJF or Adam Cole? Who do you got, Sam?
That's a great question. I think it'll be a good match. I think I'll go with MJF. I think the story will continue. I think MJF retains, and then I don't know, maybe some trouble within the two start happening, and then maybe Adam Cole takes it a little later.
It's not bad. I like that. I'll talk a little bit more about MJF and Adam Cole later on. I got a little clip from Eric Bischoff that kind of gives my thoughts on everything that's going on. It's so stupid that they're doing the pre-show just to get to the main event.
I didn't even know that they were doing that, honestly, until you showed me the clip.
All right, let's get to the next question here. Does MJF and Punk happen at All Out? Okay, that's another stupid thing. So they're having this show in Wembley this week, and then they're at the United Center the following week, the Sunday, which is I think it's Labor Day Sunday, right? Something like that. So that's I don't even know why you would put that on All Out. If the thing is where Max just want to wait to what's going to happen in 2024, do you want to save it for Full Gear or Mid Gear, whatever the hell the name of that pay-per-view is? You know, like if you're going to do Punk and Max, just wait for it to be at the end of the year when his contract is coming, because that will have more meaning to it than just throwing it together because it's in Chicago and it's All Out. That's stupid. They gotta figure out what they're gonna do with this real world championship thing on Collision and all this extra stuff. But this is what happens when you have a dirt sheet boy run all your decisions on television. All right, who is next for Carmelo Hayes? Well, we're past the Ilya Dragunov feud. I don't know how much longer him and Wesley are gonna be feuding with each other. So. I mean, it varies. I mean, I would like to see Dijak maybe be someone to fight Carmelo Hayes for a while. I think that'd be pretty cool. That's the thing. You have other guys on the roster that you could feature in this spot. Like you could have Tyler Bate maybe go after him. I don't know if you want to do him and Noam Dar because he's holding the Heritage Cup title, but that's the thing. NXT has a good roster, but there's a lot of guys in there who should probably be on Raw and SmackDown too. So that's the thing. I can't predict who's going to be the next person. My best guess would be him and Trick Williams, where Trick actually turns on him.
That's definitely going to happen down the line, I think.
By the way, speaking of Trick, I was going to mention this later in the WWE segment, but go check out his new entrance. It's pretty dope. I kind of dig it.
Was he on yesterday or not yesterday? Tuesday? I missed the show.
Yes, we'll get to that later because him and Dragunov had a barn burner.
Beautiful.
Does Seth Rollins lose the world title before Survivor Series? Yes.
Ooh.
I think with Payback and Fastlane before Survivor Series, I think you're gonna want one big moment happen in between these shows, and I think there's. I mentioned this before. Like Nakamura bringing up Seth's back injury now, and Seth's been doing this for a long while. My guess is either Seth fights this off all the way to WrestleMania, or you could get an injury angle where you give him time off for the rest of the year and he could come back at the Royal Rumble. But I do right now, me currently where things stand, I don't think Seth Rollins is walking into WrestleMania as a world champion, and also I don't think he's having a bad title reign, to be honest with you, given the fact that his back is fucked up. So I don't know.
You ever see that? You ever see that Mike Tyson video of him after a match getting asked about?
Yes.
My back is broken. Spinal. That's Seth Rollins right now. So who do you think takes it off on them? Because I think he holds on to it till at least Survivor Series.
If you want to shock people, just do it straight up with Nakamura, or seeing where things play out with the Judgment Day. I mentioned this last week. I wanted to run this by you really quick.
Okay.
So, there's been tension now with Priest and Balor over the last couple weeks, and you kind of figured those two would probably have issues with each other down the road, and maybe you get a new member in Judgment Day, or one of them is getting kicked out. They're getting kicked out. So here's the thing, and I know on paper people will be like, "What's the point of giving someone in a briefcase if their cash-in is unsuccessful, right?" But this actually can work. So here's the thing, like I can see a scenario where either Rollins like squeakily survives Nakamura, Priest tries to cash in, and Finn and JD costs him his cash in.
Well, that's honestly, I thought. What was the last pay-per-view? SummerSlam?
SummerSlam, yep.
I honestly thought that that Finn was going to win, and I thought Priest would come and cash in on Finn. But that idea is definitely something I could see happening.
I mean, I know it probably won't be popular with everybody, but I'm just throwing it out there as like an observation, and it could work to a certain extent. So I'm throwing it out there before, it doesn't make sense. Well, it actually kind of does. They've been costing each other title matches left and right for months now. So why the briefcase would be no different?
It 100% makes sense, and it could lead to a hell of a long-term feud too.
Right.
And you need those. You don't just get championship feuds. You need feuds outside that have nothing to do with a belt. So
right, and we need feuds that actually have stories. Not these two had a match in Ring of Honor in 2009, so let's have it be for the next 3 months. All right, next question: does the move for Trey Lance go down as one of the worst trades in NFL recent history? Sam, I'll let you go first.
Yes, it will, but unfortunately, it's a lottery pick, man. It really is.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
These drafts are so freaking hard. You can get the top pro scouts in the world, and that's not to say Trey Lance isn't good either. He's played about as much football in the last 3 seasons as I have. So,
right.
so who's to say he's not any good?
Right.
I don't know. It's tough to say. Does he get another chance elsewhere? I don't know. Maybe he may deserve it, but that's not how it works in the NFL. Just because you deserve something doesn't mean you necessarily get it.
Let's give a couple of shout-outs to those who've been commenting here on the show. Shout-outs to the good brother Brett Shrubsel. I appreciate you checking out the show. I'm doing good, my man. Holding it in together, man. It's been a rough week for us wrestling fans and just in general, but in good spirits. Shout out to our good brother I mentioned earlier, Joe. You just mentioned it, Bray. I feel you, man.
Yes, sir.
So going to Trey Lance. Can I just say this? John Lynch is overrated as a general manager. Can I say that and I have my football insanity question? I
didn't
get it.
say
He's
anything.
He's a Hall of Famer. I get
Exactly.
it. He's a Hall of Famer. I respect that. But as a GM, he's overrated. I get it. They made it to a Super Bowl, but are we in the participation trophy business? Or are we actually about winning something? Like, seriously. I don't care that they were in multiple NFC title games. Like, do something. And here's the thing, and it all goes back to the quarterback position, and we could bring the whole Mitch situation because this ties in with them as well. So, okay, all you 49er fans that want to been giving us shit for the last 5-6 seasons, where's your franchise quarterback?
Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy.
We both fizzled out on that equation, so both of us don't have shit to say about either team. So you give up all that money in draft capital, right, for Trey Lance. Now he's in the third string where Sam Darnold now is the backup. And now, because everybody thinks that Kyle Shanahan could do no wrong, they're just convinced now that Brock Purdy is going to be the guy going for. And don't get wrong, I thought he played good for the situation, but are we legitimately thinking that Brock Purdy's going to be an MVP candidate or offensive player of the year? Like, what are we doing here?
See, I'm not sure if they're necessarily looking at him like that, but I do think that they're looking at him as a possible like Alex Smith type player, a really good game manager, a guy who could make the pass without making a mistake. You're throwing a pick or whatever. I'm not sure they're looking at him as a top star, but the guy proved pretty quickly in a short span, in a short a short time frame, that he can win games when it matters.
There's just so much with the 49ers where I see where their situation now. They lost D'Amico Ryans to Houston. I just think the team and franchise overall is overrated, in my opinion.
I think you secretly love Kyle Shanahan. And
That's a no shot, pal.
No shot.
No shot. Take that. Oh, man. All right. Thoughts on Santana's return and Ortiz going for it? I'll get to that a little later on. All In 2018 or All In 2023? I'll go with All In, the original show. It has more historical significance, in my opinion.
More hype, too.
Them dangling this carrot about 80,000 tickets at Wembley, I get it. It's a great accomplishment. But, okay, when you come back to the States, reality sets in. I just saw their rate. I'm not even like a big Rays guy, but I saw this week that they didn't get over 900,000 for their final show before this. Now, here's this disclaimer. The biggest pay-per-view in pro wrestling history. Right? The biggest pay-per-view in pro wrestling history. My ass. You can say that how many times you want, but I appreciate the accomplishment that they're having all these people at Wembley, but your product is not indicative of those ticket sales.
Let's pump the brakes though too on the attendance thing, because let's call a spade a spade. The British or English wrestling fans are craving, so hungry for any wrestling they can get anyway. So
right,
no.
Joe, don't bring that devil stuff into here, okay? No. Let's not put this evil thought out there. No.
No, Joe, he's not going there, and if he does, I'm going to lose a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, his career ending in AEW, or give me the nearest bucket to throw up in.
It's like Ric Flair going to TNA. Come on.
Yeah, I can't wait for Edge and Chris Jericho. Edge and Christian and the Hardys, the Running Lip Man.
A combined age of 15 years old.
I literally saw a tweet the other day. Let's run it back. Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardy's, TLC in 2020. I'm like, do you care about these people's well-being?
They're going to be hitting each other with a bunch of walkers.
Come on, man. No shot.
No.
To that's absolutely a no shot.
Take that.
Okay, take that. All right. Let's go to the next question here. best moment. Oh, this is a good one. Best moments in matches from Edge. Speaking of Edge, it's a good segue here.
Yeah.
What's some of your favorite memories from Edge? And those for watching, let us know in the chat box here.
Obviously all the TLC matches. His match with John Cena.
Yep.
With the ladder match, I can't remember where it was. Let's see. His matches with Undertaker, obviously really good. There's so many. So many. Jesus. Go ahead and name a few. I gotta think.
I'm just gonna go for old school
Mick
purpose.
Foley, obviously.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah. Let's go for old school purposes. Honestly, the Brood is up there for me. The John Cena rivalry, like you mentioned, is one of the best.
That was the rivalry of my childhood.
Yeah, I think for me, that's one of the more underrated rivalries for the last 10, 15 years or so. Joe mentioned here Edge and Undertaker. I love that one too.
Hell yeah.
We did miss out on a rivalry with him and Punk. We did miss out on that. I guess they didn't get along. I know you'll say shocker. But that Edge and Undertaker WrestleMania match was very good. And shout out to Jimmy Corderas, who's a former guest of the PWE show. He was the referee for that match. He tells us the good story about that match. That was a fun one. I think that interview is still up on his channel, by the way, if you guys want to check it out. Check it out. Make sure to subscribe to by the way, yeah. I don't know. We're 50 minutes in it. You should be subscribing to the show. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, by the way. I've been noticing we've been getting an uptick on our subscribers recently. I appreciate those who've been rocking with us. We're close to 500 here on YouTube, which is pretty cool. If we get up to 1,000, that'll be a big accomplishment. So subscribe, like this video, do all that fun stuff if you're watching the show.
By the way, I'd be remiss to not mention the feud with Kurt Angle.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Honestly, a lot of the stuff recently from his return for me is one of my favorite matches with Edge. You know the Logan character, right? Wolverine.
Yeah.
All that stuff. That's really my takeaway from this run from Edge. You know, like the grizzled veteran that still could kick ass and all that stuff. Like he, the rivalry with Rollins. I love the matches he had with Roman. That triple threat match, I was there for that when he stacked Bryan and Edge on top of each other.
Yep.
Randy, obviously, yep, that was another good one.
I think he's had a fantastic second run. I really do.
Hell, even the stuff with the Judgment Day going to this past WrestleMania is. I mean, one of my favorite matches of the year, not of the year, but it was Edge and Beth Phoenix against Finn and Rhea Ripley, the Elimination Chamber, that mixed tag match. That was very, very good.
Yep.
So, yeah, for those watching, if you have any other favorite Edge promos or matches, drop it down in the chat box. Also, I forgot to mention, there's a promo you guys can go check out from Edge. Remember the anonymous Raw general manager and Michael will have to read the emails. Yep. Edge was like, I'd rather listen to a recording of JR than a live Michael Cole.
Michael Cole is such a good heel.
Yeah, he was a good heel. All right, let's get to the next question. It's here from the good brother Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve down in Texas. I appreciate you checking out the show, brother, as always. All right, here we go. What is the craziest work or school deadline you have ever made, and how did you pull it off? Oh, man.
That's a good one.
Well, my work is a little different with the transfers. I'm not necessarily on the deadline all the time. I can just say that the weekend where CM Punk made his debut in AEW, I covered 9 shows in 3 days.
I was going to say, your answer would have to have something to do with the transcripts. It has to.
Yeah, so it would be 9 shows in 3 days in 2021.
That is freaking insane.
What about you? Any like school related stuff like that?
That's tough. I mean, I guess maybe that. Do you remember that music video that we had to do? I had no interest in doing that whatsoever. And Joe and I, we teamed together on that, and I think we did it. I think we finished it in like less than a week, and we were given however long to do it.
Yeah.
we just shit something out and threw it up there, and we're done.
Honestly, I don't know how I finished first in my class because I couldn't edit video for shit. Final Cut Pro, all that, I couldn't do it to save my life.
I wasn't great at it myself. I'm more of an audio editor myself.
Yeah, put me in behind a radio board. We're good.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what people think about my skills behind the mic, but I can run a board for sure.
Yeah, you can. You had to fill in for Joe one day because I couldn't run the damn board. I can edit it after the show. I can't really run it during.
That's funny. Next question. Best advice for doing the full workday after 1 hour consistent sleep. Well, there you go. Water. Water. What's the song from Water Park? Water sucks. It really. Gatorade. Oh my god. I heard something about Captain Insano showing up at the show on Sunday.
Spare me the freaking.
Yes. I don't need that visual in my life.
No.
Captain Insano. All right.
Loud.
Well, I answered the White Sox question earlier. So his last question, Marty, was like, they stinks that bad? Yes, they stinks that bad.
He stinks.
What is the better landing place for Richard Sherman? Undisputed and that kind of thing, or Stars on Mars? Have you ever heard of this show, Stars on Mars? I think it's like some competition on Mars that Ronda Rousey's in. Fox,
oh, you know what? I think I've heard a little bit about it, but I'm not sure really what it's about or anything.
You know what?
I'll say Undisputed. I'm just gonna say that.
I was gonna say Undisputed too. I'm this is the Richard Sherman put that Nimrod Skippy Bayless in his place.
I don't think he's gonna be as good as Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's the man.
Yeah.
But I think he'll do okay with Skip. Skip plays a gimmick, man. That's not really what Skip is.
Oh, he's definitely a gimmick for sure.
Yeah.
You know, kind of similar branch of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. I had an old show that I used to do here on YouTube called The Sports Drive. And we have a segment called Skippy Bayless Bash Hour. And a lot of the guys that I had on the show couldn't stand him, so I would read quotes that he would say on the show, and they would go nuts.
That sounds like fun.
Joe says here, Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay, best match since Attitude Era. Well, I think it'll definitely be the best Chris Jericho match since he left WWE. I will say that. All thanks to Will Ospreay. That's my answer to that question. But Attitude Era, I don't know.
Oh, is that on the card for?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And we got to have Jericho. We got to hear Judas live. No, we don't.
Shouldn't he be touring with Fozzy or something? That man never goes away.
He needs a long break for television, like really a long one. Yeah. I don't know why he always goes with Judas. I think Painless is actually the better Fozzy song, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's more popular.
Yeah. Ospreay Jericho would be a good match, but again, I don't know what it says about Will Ospreay in New Japan if you're just bringing him in just to lose to Jericho too. You know, I don't know how that match is gonna play out. He says you didn't like Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera 2020. I don't know what's the bigger battle, that match, Joe, or Jericho versus the... Oh, never mind. You know what? Fuck it. January 6th. Oh, man. If you guys know about Jericho and the stuff with the what was it? The invasion thing at the what was it? The Capitol? His wife was there.
Really?
You heard that story?
No, I did not.
Yeah. His wife was one of the people that stormed the Capitol.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
The COVID god. Oh man, I can't remember the last Jericho match I enjoyed. Like that fucking Le Dinner Debonair thing that he did with MJF, the single thing. That was it. I was actually enjoying the early stuff he did when AEW first started, where he was like the champion and all that. I enjoyed that, but that stuff and then his feud with Orange Cassidy, all that just went downhill for me from there.
You put Orange Cassidy in anything, and it's gonna go downhill.
Yeah, tell me about it. All right. Speaking of which, what is the dumbest reality show yet? Jersey Shore. There you go.
That's a good pick right there.
Yes.
Dumbest reality show. Dumbest reality show. You know what? I think Naked and Afraid is the dumbest fucking reality show I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
I can't stand it. My wife tries to watch it all the time. I'm like, turn that stupid shit off.
Oh God. I can't watch the Bachelor shows. Any of those,
No,
I can't.
no, I
just
can't
can't do it.
Yeah.
No shot. The girliest thing I'll ever see myself doing is listening to Taylor Swift music, and even then, I don't even consider that girly because that girl's just fucking talented at what she does music wise.
No comment.
I'm not a Swiftie. I'm gonna throw that out there too. Let's not get crazier, but I do appreciate her music her music aptitude. I'll say that.
There is not a single singer on this planet that I hate more than Taylor Swift.
not even Justin Bieber.
No.
The Biebs, what a twat.
He is a twat. But man, there's something about Taylor Swift that I can't do it.
What is the weirdest item you have seen recycled or donated to charity? That's a good question. I can't give you a proper answer, but I'm sure there's something out there.
That's a really good question.
You want a funny story from the tattoo days?
Yeah.
So going back to the day where I was working at the tattoo shop, I never said this story on air before. We had a lady in her early 40s come in and try to sell us dildos. She said she had a box of dildos, 10 dildos, that she was looking to get $50 out of them.
What?
And she said it would be a nice feature for those who are walking into the store late at night. That's something that they needed to. I forgot the long soliloquy she went on, but seriously, this is true. So, for those who don't know, I had to run the shop at nights because my uncle wouldn't work those weekday nights, right? So I had to be the overseer of all the tattoos. I was basically the boss during those night shifts. So I had to oversee everything. And this lady comes in and she has these literally box of dildos that she wanted us to sell to customers. And I'm like, I can't help you here. I've heard some crazy stuff and seen things at this tattoo shop. It's just ridiculous. It's like I heard somebody ask me to give them a presidential discount. I've overseen a tattoo where somebody got a portrait of Amy Winehouse over their, you know what, vaginal area, I guess. But the dumbest out of all of them is this dildo story.
Was she on drugs?
Yeah, she had to be. She was out there. It was like 10 o'clock at night or whatever. We usually close at midnight. She comes in, hey guys, I got this box of dildos. You think it'd be a nice feature here for the site? No, for the store. I'm like, well, I don't have the jurisdiction to make that decision. And two, you gotta go. So I never shared that story before, so that's an exclusive here on the podcast at Hoots.
That's so good.
Another question here from Joe. He says, what's your guys' take on LA Knight? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's doing good, man. People should be happy that he's getting TV time. I said this before for those who watch the show, man. LA Knight does not need a prop to be over. So I'm glad he's getting TV time. And him doing this stuff right now, The Miz is going to benefit him more than him having the U.S. title right now.
And
so
talk about a guy. Sorry, go ahead and finish.
No, I was going to go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, talk about a guy who we talk about all the time. Make the most of your TV time. He definitely makes the most of his TV time with whatever amount he's given. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
I love the part where he was a couple weeks ago. He was like, "Man, I know Will Smith was a rapper, but I didn't know Uncle Phil was too."
He really does look like a young Uncle Phil too.
That's brutal, man. By the way, shout out to AJ Francis Salvador. He's a cool dude. Some people rag on the dude, but I think he's cool. But
do you think Michael Cole actually has beef with him?
No, it's kind of similar to the stuff that he does with Bailey when they bicker with each other. So Cole does lay into him though. I get it was a botch and all that, but still flopped out. I can't believe Cole said it on TV. Would you like to see a Becky Lynch NXT run against who? I wouldn't mind it if she had a one-off match, but as a run, probably not. Hey, all I'll say is this: respectfully, more Becky Lynch on my TV, the better. That's all I'm gonna say.
Big facts. I'll give you that. Yeah. I don't know who she would be really fitted well to go against in NXT. Maybe just throw Tiffany Stratton at her or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, I'm in. I don't need to see it, but if that's the route they choose to go, I'm in for it.
Right. I heard Tiffany Stratton would have a barn burner. I think Roxanne Perez could have a good match, but
you know who I'm a big fan of in NXT? I think she has a torn ACL right now. I think she's got a bright future.
Who's that?
Sol Ruca.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic. That like little sunset flip RKO thing she does, so good. Even Becky and Blair Davenport. Speaking of good waterfall, that would be a good match.
Yeah, for sure.
Blair Davenport is the real deal. You guys should keep your eyes open to her. She's damn good in the ring. All right. Did you catch the excitement of the Women's World Cup, including getting a 3 a.m. to watch? I did not watch it. I'm not a big fan of soccer. I do appreciate what the ladies are doing and having all success, but I'm not a big soccer fan, so that's going to be a no for me.
Yeah, no, not a fan. Can't do it.
And it's nothing against women. I'm just not a soccer fan in general.
No.
I can't watch it.
No, me neither. I try to watch the World Cup when it's on, but usually I watch a half a game and then turn it off.
Right. Who will be the World Heavyweight Champion in 2 months? Kind of similar question we had earlier. Rollins, Nakamura, or Priest? I could see it being Priest. I really could. It's going to be either Rollins or Priest for me. That's my best guess.
Yeah, I'll go Rollins. I don't think he loses it before Survivor Series. I think maybe sometime around Royal Rumble.
Right.
Unless he wants to go off and have whatever, surgery or whatever he needs to fix his back. Because I know that's legit, isn't it?
Yeah. He said he messed it up 4 years ago, and it's been nipping at him recently.
At some point, he's going to probably want to get it fixed.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know he had the ACL tear back at 15, yeah, something like that, and he's been grinding nonstop since then. And it's not even like I don't want to see Seth on TV. That's not that deal, but I want him to be around, and it'd be tough for him to be put in a position where he becomes a part-timer due to injury and fix what you need to be fixed and then just get back to it. So.
Yeah, it's not like the fans are gonna forget Seth freaking Rollins.
Right, exactly. By the way, I saw somebody like, "Oh, Seth Rollins and Becky should make the jump to AEW because her and Trish were left off of SummerSlam." I'm like, that's a dumb take. All right. Have you noticed more stores, ads, and movie trailers using music from your generation as opposed to older music for older generation? Hey, what are you playing there, Mike? What about my generation is having bad music? The millennial chart goes from 1981 to 1996, right? So does the Michael Jackson songs don't count? Does Nirvana don't count? What? Does Notorious B.I.G. don't count? What?
Guns N' Roses?
What? I don't know what you're trying to apply there. Does Tupac doesn't count either? What? I don't know. I really don't pay attention to what music choices are from ads and stuff. Sometimes I know with certain music, not my bad music, not music. I can't talk today. Movie trailers. I I know it's more of the older stuff like George Harrison songs and stuff like that. I hear that in a lot of trailers and stuff, but um, it just varies. I really don't really pay attention to commercials, to be honest with you. I kind of zone those out.
Definitely.
All right. The last question here for the, actually two more actually. Last here from Mikey says, if you're willing to take it, what will you remember most about Bray Wyatt? And do you see his positive legacy already in characters like the Dyad / Schism, Sanity, and etc.? Yes. I think for me, my biggest takeaway from Bray Wyatt is that the versatility he's shown throughout his career is something that should be commended. And I think that he doesn't get enough credit for the stuff he did inside the ring. And I think more importantly, the takeaway from this is that the guy was just a good fucking man. You rarely heard any issues about him personally or anything like that, man. And he's definitely the definition of someone who's has that a lot of like bravery and courage to be vulnerable on screen and take risks like that clip we played earlier, man. He owned and doubled down on everything he did, and you had to in that type of field. And he knew that it was all 100% his passion for what he was doing, no matter what feud it was, no matter what type of gimmick it was with the Fiend, any variation of the Bray Wyatt character. He gave it his all, and it's just really a fucking shame, man. But this is a harsh reality about life, man. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. It's just heartbreaking, man. I know he was dealing with stuff, but again, man, this is a reminder, man. This stuff could hit you out of nowhere, man. And I know this weekend for SmackDown, I'm sure there'll be a lot of tributes coming out from there on Raw too, and Bray's gonna be missed, man. A lot. It's a really, really big loss.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm gonna remember him for being just one of my favorite wrestlers of this era. Like you said, his versatility, he's kind of underrated in the ring. I feel like he could definitely go, and his kind of like you, like how I did like to describe you is he didn't half-ass anything. He put 100% into everything that he did, and he tried to put that awesome content, that awesome entertainment out for us, the fans. So you got to respect it, you got to appreciate it, and once again, I just condolences to his family and his friends and everybody that knew him.
Right. All right, the last question here. Here comes from the good brother Pat. Shout out to Pat. Rated PWF, the good brother. I hope it's a good season for you and the Mac Jones.
Yeah, enjoy Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott. I heard that he signed with the team, right? That's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with the Patriots, man. It really is. I don't get it. Really quick before I read this question, let me read what Joe just put here in the chat. Here he said, heartbreaking, man. Only 36 years old. I was fortunate to see him wrestle live plenty of times, and the entrances were always great. And that's the thing too, man. Especially here in Chicago, man. Bray had some really, really big pops, man. I remember that Survivor Series weekend. There was like 4 shows, and the Raw after, like you seen War Games and SmackDown, and that Survivor Series, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. That was a cool weekend. And I remember this like it was yesterday. After Seth did his whole heel turn, the what do you call it? The dark match after was involving Bray Wyatt, and he was the Fiend character at the time. And you just, it's like the coolest shit you see in person. The entrances, even when he was the original Bray Wyatt character, the Swamp Dude, like it was fantastic, man.
Hell yeah.
And there's another one when he made his return recently, that there was a SmackDown in Chicago for Christmas where he had another powerful promo. You guys should go check that out too, man. Ray had a lot of great memories here in Chicago. So, man, this one's gonna sting for a long while, man.
It is. I'm always gonna be a fan of Bray Wyatt, and it really freaking stings. And To sit here and realize that 2 out of the 3 original Wyatt family members are now gone is just
It's brutal, man.
It's spine numbing, spine tingling.
Check out your people, man. Reach out to people, man. Don't hold shit inside, man.
No.
If you got a grudge or something, you need to confront that shit and learn and heal and either move on or be mature enough to forgive yourself, even if you're not in the wrong situations too. You know.
I agree.
That's the thing, man. We can hold grudges towards people. We can be upset with people. We could tackle that issue head on, or you can let it linger, and you never had the opportunity to rekindle or fix that issue too. You know, you got it's. I know a lot of people hold a lot of pride, and I know that's not easy for people. If it's an obvious situation where it affects other family members, I can understand to a certain point where people don't want to talk to other people. I've drawn that line too. I'm not saying that I'm on a high moral compass or anything like that. What I'm saying is that, especially with life, man, you cannot take this shit for granted. No matter what circumstances, you can either tackle your issues head on, because we don't get chances all the time. You gotta make the most of the moments. So, Bray, man, you be missed for sure. We're gonna take a quick little break, but when we come back, talk
Don't forget
about
Pat's question.
Oh yes, Pat's question. Yes, I got it right here. He says, "Does Gunther break Honky Tonk Man's record, and why aren't we discussing him as the 2024 Royal Rumble winner?" Yes, I do believe he will break Honky Tonk Man's record, and I think he was probably more obvious picks, right, to win the Rumble next year.
Definitely up there for me.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Hell no.
And here's the thing too, like, I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, you could have Cody win the Rumble again," but the only way I can see the only way I can see Cody getting back at Roman is him winning the Elimination Chamber. You could do it that way, but when it comes to the Rumble, I think the World Heavyweight title deserves that spotlight for that particular winner. So it could be LA Knight, it could be Gunther. My personal preference for me would be Gunther winning that match. So
I agree.
So I want to give a shout out to Joe. I want to give a shout out to Chris. I want to give a shout out to Pat and Mike for the great questions this week. As always, if you have any questions for us, hit us up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. When we come back, we'll talk about what happened this week in WWE, and then we'll get to our main event segment, otherwise known as What the Hell's Wrong with AEW, right here on the Hoots Podcast. We're back. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. This is going to be a more abbreviated segment this week, so we can get enough time to get our predictions for this Wembley show. Everybody like, "Oh, Josh, you hate everything AEW." No, not the case. I want to be. Here's the thing. Here's where I really show my real, like, I hate AEW. I want to make predictions for this pay-per-view on Sunday. A lot of people have different displays of indifference and stuff like that. Apathy, I don't have a hard time actually going about it and being apathetic. That's the thing. If I didn't care, I wouldn't talk about it. That's the difference. So let's get into this. Let's talk a little bit about SmackDown, where we had Edge's 25th anniversary show in Toronto. Great crowd on SmackDown this past Friday. Fun show. Obviously, they had the Grace Waller effect that started off the show with the LWO.
That guy is money.
Yeah, he is. He really is. LA Knight, Austin Theory. Adam Pearce is a trip, man. I think he does a good job to a certain extent, but at other times he's a stooge. Like, let's be honest.
I like him, though. I really do.
Like, he has this gleeful eye anytime he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get my tagline here. Oh, it's official. We get it, Adam Pearce. You're a WWE official."
He just reminds me of like he seems like a guy who would just drop a ton of dad jokes.
Yes.
I don't know why I see that.
Oh man, I here's the thing. Like, I think that Adam Pearce reminds me a lot of like Briscoe and Patterson back in the day.
For sure.
Stooges. But he made the match official with Austin Theory and LA Knight. They have their match pretty decent. Miz was on commentary. A couple lines he said during the match popped me really big. He was like, LA Knight is like Eugene.
Oh, yeah.
With crayons. And then he said, what was it he said on Raw this week? That LA Knight's the Hoobastink of WWE.
Something weird.
I'm like, hey, don't go after Hoobastink. I like that song. You are the that's right. That's the song. God, man, this is funny, man. Literally, if you want the definition of the guy has a good life, he has the money, he has the gig he's always wanted. He's got a hot ass wife. He's got kids, and Miz got it good for sure.
The Miz is the man.
Yes, he is. So Miz cost LA Knight the match. This was the #1 contenders match for the U.S. title. I mentioned this last week. There's like a lot of like things that happens on these weekly shows that are more like window dressing than answers to what's going on in the feuds. That's why I kind of express here on the show a lot of times that you don't have a definitive reason for these feuds all the time on these TV shows. You'll get the answers on these premium live events. So a lot of this stuff is window dressing. So it's like, oh, this feud doesn't make sense. Well, by the time you get to the pay-per-view, you understand why things are actually happening. That's kind of the point where it's episodic television. So yeah, I could fancy book and say, oh, this is eventually we'll get to Santos Escobar turning on Rey Mysterio. But we're not at that point yet. Nope. We'll get there. Another day for SmackDown I really enjoyed was the women's tag match. Bianca and Charlotte against Damage Control. I thought it was a very good match. And Charlotte, woo! And she was on her game on Friday. I thought she did very good. And then Edge and Sheamus, the main event. I don't know if you got to see the match yet, Sam, but
yes, I did.
It was really dope. It was a really cool deal. They had a lot of video packages throughout the show, honoring Edge's career. If that was it, man, to end it in Toronto like that, I don't know.
Hell of a way to go out.
Right, I don't know how better way you could have a send off than that. On his own terms too. His family there in the front row.
Unless he wants to go out on his back, like you're supposed to or whatever.
Yeah, the
time honored tradition.
Right, something like that. This week was interesting too on the wrestling media tip because there was a lot of like shocker, misleading speculation, rumor, and innuendo. And a lot of it came from the PW Torch this week, and this big scuttlebutt that supposedly WWE denied Edge's request to continue on if he signed this extension. And I believe in context and substance, so we like playing clips here on the show. And I always say there's two sources to always go to get the truth, especially in the wrestling world: your eyes and the people who are actually fucking doing it. So in this context here, we're going to hear from the man himself address this situation and debunk the nonsense in these rumor and news sites. It's getting bad out there, Sam. It really is. So let's hear this from Edge that was posted earlier this morning here. So let's play this. All right.
Morning, everybody. That's how I look in the morning. It's not pretty, but need my coffee for this. So I woke up to a bunch of voicemails, texts, and everything from actual like friends and family, wondering what's going on and concerned and blah blah blah. So I just figured I better address it. There's nothing going on. There's no hard feelings between me and WWE. I love WWE. You know, it's my dream gig. It's all I ever wanted to do. And I didn't come at them with some crazy contract or anything. They didn't deny me. I have a contract extension sitting in my inbox. I just don't know what to do. You know, the first time I had to retire, it was forced. And this time, the choice is in my lap, and it's a lot harder. WWE gave me that night, Friday night in Toronto, and it was the best night of my career. You know, a lot of people will say you should retire at WrestleMania or this or that, but it's not their career. You know, that Friday night was really special for me, and I don't know if that can be topped, to be perfectly honest. And if we think we can, then great. But I need to sit with it and just know that whatever it is that I do, whether it's Percy Jackson, which is coming up soon, or it's wrestling, or it's sitting in my rocking chair, it's because I'm having fun. And having fun at this stage of my life and raising my kids are the two most important things. So hope that clears stuff up. I'm going to go back to my coffee. See you.
All right.
Sam? Yeah, that's the first time I saw that clip, and I didn't believe it even before that clip, and that kind of clears it up even more.
Can we stop leading people astray?
I don't understand what the fun in doing that is. Like, what is your source? Honestly, who are you hearing this from? Like, what kind of bullshit is somebody giving? You're talking to some fucking neckbeard in his mom's basement giving you this information that he has no idea what he's talking about.
Well, this is the thing, too. Like, okay, me and you did not go to a journalism school, but we actually know how this media sourcing and all this extra stuff goes. We went to a legitimate media school. Like, when I did the transcripts, I've used the same format that we learned in the TV format. They showed us a script, what it looked like, what a rundown is, right? So I used that as a template while I was making my transcripts. But even then, I'm like, do you have any, like, literacy? I guess that's the word, right? Media literacy. Do you have any self-respect or self-awareness to understand that you're leading your audience astray because you don't have enough gumption to do your fucking job and talk to the source? You got to come up with speculation because, All In's coming up this weekend, so let's rub up the idea that Edge is going to go to AEW.
See, but the problem is the people fucking eat it up.
Yeah, they eat it up.
That's the problem, and that's what keeps them doing it.
I get it from a fancy booking idea that, it'd be a nice concept for him and Christian to link up together and have another run as a tag team. But, like, you want his final legacy to be him and Christian against the best friends and Butcher and Baker and the Candlestick Maker. And, like, come on. Don't get me wrong. Him and FTR would be good. That match would be good. Even the Hardy Boys. Even though I'm not a Young Bucks fan, I'll even say Edge and Christian and the Young Bucks would be a fine match. Okay, but still, like,
I just love the Hardy Boys reference.
I gotta give credit to Cornette for that because it's so true. The Hardy Boys. I don't want to see Edge and CM Punk at Punk's age now. I don't want to see him and Jericho. Him and Olivier will be fine, I guess, but I don't know, man. It's just not there. Me seeing it, I don't see it working.
No, I can't even visualize it, to be honest with you.
So, we got Jose Tony Contreras checking out the show. Appreciate you checking out the show, man.
Oh man.
Well, I don't think anybody's saying that WWE has a better tag team division. I just think with Edge's career, he'd rather finish it off as a singles. Yeah. In my opinion. I don't need to
see him in a tag team. I really
I mean, at the end of the day, Edge doesn't owe us anything. So if he wants to do stuff in AEW, that's fine. Like, that's his prerogative. Me personally, I want him to do what he wants to do. And if he wants to finish it out at WrestleMania, cool. If what happened on Friday is what he wants to have it sent off, then so be it. He doesn't owe us anything. But I don't see it visually him ending his career at Revolution or whatever. Because you heard the Dark Match promo he had after the show, right? He's like, I can't make it past another full year of a run. So what are you gonna do? Right. Join a company, join a new company, and be there for 2 or 3 years, like Ric Flair, like you mentioned earlier. Like, I don't know, man. For me, it's a miss. I just don't see it.
No, I'm with you.
Let's talk a little bit about Raw. Anything else throughout the week that stood out to you, good, bad, or indifferent?
Not off the top, no. I mean, I love the Nakamura backstage, not the backstage, the vignette or whatever. Thought that was really good. You know, I think him and Rollins is going to be pretty stellar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this is something I think that should have been happening a long time ago. Is these, like you said, the subtitles and catching promos. Those backstage promos are good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could rekindle the stuff that he did in New Japan. I think that's a little. I think that's a little past today. So it's been 10 years since that point. But I'm happy for it. It's a new matchup, obviously, on the pay-per-view, which I think is a bonus. I know a lot of times we could get to like repetitive feuds and matches and stuff like that. But for it being a pay-per-view match, I have no problem with it being new. You know, I think that's cool.
Yeah, me too. And honestly, I think that'll be good. I didn't mean to cut you off. Another thing that is kind of captivating my attention is where this whole thing is going to go with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley.
Right.
I think that could be big money there if they can. Once we see where they're going to go with it.
Well, last thing on the Seth and Nakamura thing, like I really enjoyed Seth's promo, the backstage he had. Because I know sometimes he relies a lot on the cackling and the Joker characteristics, but to the point where he's talking about his back, and then Nakamura mentioning not being able to hold his daughter when it got to the fan part. I like that fire. I thought that was good. So, we got one more week left before Payback, so I'm sure these guys will get into a brouhaha, if you will, before the pay-per-view. So. I think it'd be pretty cool. To the Street Profits point with Lashley, I'm all for it. I think it's gonna be pretty dope. Do you call it Hurt Business 2.0? I don't know.
No, I wouldn't. I think you can be a little more creative than that.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I agree, Jose. That promo was top notch. That promo right there is another example we talk about on the show a lot about maximizing your TV time.
That and even with Nakamura these days, I feel like his English has gotten so good over the years that since he's been in America that I think he can cut a decent promo anyway in English if he wants to.
Right. Well, let's use it. We talk about maximizing TV time, right? Let's like use it in a radio perspective, right? So let's say like you're a board op or a producer. You're not the main host. You're not the co-host, but You get to talk sometimes. I hear it on both stations, on the Score and ESPN 1000, where their producers get to speak. That's your time to shine too. Yeah. You got to maximize it. You got to make sure that you know what you're talking about. You got to make the most of that opportunity, even if you talk for 30 seconds or you get a couple times to show to get your opinion here and there. You got to make the most out of your opportunities. And I thought that was cool. And I said it before, like having those sit down interviews or having a vignette like that, like if you have like Michael Cole cut those old school. Remember I used to play that on the station a lot, those Michael Cole WWE.com interviews. Yes. I did that for a reason because it adds a lot to the storylines and the character development stuff and stuff like that. And one of the reasons guys like Kevin Owens and the New Day and etc. got to elevate their careers because of the stuff they did with those interviews. I think a lot of stuff that happened with the Authority angle, why it worked so well, was that dynamic with him, Triple H and Michael Cole too. So
For sure.
you gotta do more of those. Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, they could make some good business. I honestly think that them and the Bloodline could do some good stuff. If you could get a Roman and Lashley match at Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
It'd be a little different dynamic now that Jay's gone for now. We got to figure out what's going to happen with Jimmy Uso tomorrow. Obviously, Roman is taking some time off. I don't know what's going to be his next appearance or what he's going to do next. So we got to see what's going to happen with Jimmy. Does Rikishi finally show up to the storyline? Like, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. We got to think about it. I know that a lot of people are upset about Jimmy's turn on Jay at SummerSlam, but I trust Paul Heyman's judgment. I'm sure we'll get some more context clues that'll make more sense as the weeks go by. So, obviously, this is all storyline, right? Oh, Jose got another comment here. As someone who produced and board out for the score, I definitely agree on maximize your opportunities for sure. That's pretty cool. You got to be a board out for the score. That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, he went to school at the same school we went to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. For me, my favorite part of being at the school was learning how to do the board op. Don't get wrong, it was pretty cool the fact that I was able to have my wrestling show for 3 hours every week. But this the part of that process of like editing a podcast and Adobe Audition and all stuff. I was just a geek for that board op stuff.
All that stuff was so much fun.
Yeah, it was dope. So I was saying earlier, like you could do Roman and Lashley for a match at SummerSlam. I'm curious, anything you want to hear from Jimmy Uso tomorrow? They're gonna stretch this out for a while to see. This is storyline driven with Jay quitting. It's not legit, obviously. So does Rikishi get involved? What would you like to see next with the Bloodline?
I don't know. I think it could be. What if it's like a work with, in between the Usos? You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Jimmy makes his way back in somehow. I don't see that happening, considering he called Roman Reigns an asshole on live television. But
the tribal chief is an asshole, but he is a generous tribal chief.
It's true. But I don't know. All I know is these segments between the Usos and the Bloodline and all that stuff are always golden on SmackDown. And
yeah.
And whatever he comes out and says, my eyes will be glued to the television. So I don't want to make any assumptions or make any guesses or whatever, because I don't want to look like an idiot.
Right.
Because every time I seem to make a guess on what's going on with the Bloodline, they outcreate me anyway. So it really becomes a moot point.
Right. I always get a kick out of Paul Heyman whenever Roman shows up. Like, I love you, my tribal chief. I love you, my tribal.
He's so good, man. He's just so good at his job.
Oh man. All right. Really quick, I want to mention some other stuff on the show really quick before we wrap this up. Chad Gable and Gunther went to a count out. I thought it was the right decision. The storyline here is that Gunther continues to underestimate Chad Gable, and Gable beats Gunther at his own game, and it's really getting at the psyche of Gunther. They'll have their match at Payback for the title, legitimate. We'll have a full length match. But the 5-minute challenge, now this count out that happened on Monday, I think it's a good storyline, and it's really getting Gunther flustered. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, Imperium's gonna split, but no, like Gunther has always treated those two guys with tough love. I gotta say this though, Ludwig Kaiser is the man. I love that dude.
Samantha Irvin says that perfectly.
Yeah. Ludwig Kaiser. That guy is hilarious, man. You will not besmirch the ring, yanala.
And I'll tell you, Chad Gable's definitely making the most of this to himself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Chad Gable has proven time and time again that he's the real deal. He's good, man.
Shout out to Maxine Dupree as well. So we gotta see what's gonna happen next with Cody Rhodes. He's kind of like in a holding pattern now till we see what the next feud is. I think it's gonna be either Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton. Sam. I really think that's my best guess of who's next real rivalry is going to be.
Yeah, if I had to guess who takes the strap off him, I think it'll be Drew McIntyre.
Rollins or Cody? You're talking about... I was saying next rivalry for Cody, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. For Cody. Cody. You think a heel Drew McIntyre, possibly?
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I've been waiting for a Drew heel turn for quite a while.
It just something has to happen either where Drew turns on Riddle or Orton comes back and attacks Cody. I think that's the next big feud for Cody.
Sounds good.
In my opinion. So.
Yeah.
And then they had the 6-man. Monday had a loud crowd, so I thought Raw was pretty decent this past Monday. They had in Quebec City, Sami Zayn and KO country, so it was always cool to see him show up. I don't know, it's just me. Every time Kevin Owens comes out and beats up Dominic, I just start laughing my ass off.
I think he's probably laughing in his head too.
Yeah. Whoop his ass. All right, so last thing we'll mention here for this week in WWE is NXT Heatwave, a special that happened on NXT on Tuesday. If you guys haven't seen Ilya Dragunov and Trick Williams, I totally recommend you guys go check out that match because that match was fucking dope. Dragunov, I think, could be a big-time player if given the right opportunities. In my opinion, I think he could be a big star, but he's killing it, man, in NXT. I'm not surprised, man. It always gives me some extra happiness to see the guys from NXT UK do good on NXT because for those who've watched the show for a long time know that NXT UK was my favorite show that WWE was producing for a long time. And so to see Dragunov have success like that is just dope. And then the other one was Nathan Frazier and Noah Dar. Noah Dar is your new Heritage Cup champion. I thought that was a good match as well. And then, Carmelo Hayes and Wes Lee was the main event this week from TV. And they did... Carmelo Hayes did this springboard fadeaway DDT off the ropes through the announce table. It was fucking insane. So
that sounds pretty freaking cool. I gotta check out the show. I wasn't able to catch it right away, so that's probably what I'm gonna go do after this show tonight.
Also, I gotta say this: the acting genes have not come to one Ava Raine yet. I'm not gonna bury the girl yet, but her promos this week were rough. I could be fair here.
Yeah. Gotta call a spade on this show, man.
Yeah. So that was not that was the definition of not maximizing TV time. But I think XC's picking up some momentum. Some people like Booker T's commentary, some people don't. It is what it is.
No.
Shucky ducky quack quack. Oh yeah.
Sounds like he's taking a shit, man.
He really does. He really does. All right. On that note, it's time for the main event. And if you're easily offended or don't like criticism for AEW, that's a you problem, not a me problem. It's time for another stellar edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. We're gonna start this bad boy off in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Your meat, beat 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 your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
The quality of the product and the quality of the shows is at an all-time high right now. But I do know that it's a real war between AEW and WWE.
I'm still cashing fat checks, and I am still banging the hottest bitch in this entire place.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Brought to you by The Observer.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Nope.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. The time for our main event segment here on the podcast at Hoots. It's time for What the Hell's Wrong with AEW. Ironically, on a positive tip, I thought Dynamite was a passable show this week, so you're not going to hear me lose my mind this week as opposed to last week's episode. If you guys heard that one, that was a real doozy. I don't know what it says about AEW, but the fact that you're having Ring of Honor, I get the tie-in with Adam Cole and MJF. I want to start it off with this, Sam. I get the tie-in with Adam Cole and MJF because they're having the pre-show match. But Aussie Open and Hardy Boys as the main event of your go-home show, nah. It's like they're incapable of having the main event segment on the show be a talkie segment. It always has to be a match, and I thought that was a miss. Don't get me wrong, the Hardys are cool to still see on TV. I don't have nothing against Matt or Jeff, but nobody gives a shit about the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. I'm just being up front and honest with this. So it's not just me, man. I'm gonna play a clip here from Eric Bischoff that me and Sam took a look over it before the show went on air today. So you guys gonna hear it right now. So we know right now at All In it's gonna be at the 0 hour. It's gonna be MJF and Adam Cole taking on the Aussie Open for the for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. So let's hear what Eric Bischoff has to say about this situation.
What do you think of the way they've started to announce some of these matches for All In? It looks like we're going to have Adam Cole and MJF in the pre-show wrestling a tag match for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. And then they're going to wrestle again in the main event for the world title. That's an interesting idea, I suppose. I don't remember seeing anything like that. What do you think of that?
I think it's stupid.
Okay.
I don't get it. I don't know what else to say. I think it's stupid. I think it dilutes the interest in the main event. I don't understand why they're doing it other than to showcase Ring of Honor, whatever. We'll see. I'll wait and see. It's unique. I'll say that. It's unique.
He said it perfectly there. Like, you had this. Here's my issue with it. Having a major world title match in that type of show should not have the same two people fighting on the pre-show for tag titles that don't mean shit. No. And if the only tie-in is that, this is where we'll find out who will turn on each other, why couldn't you do it on TV? Why do I need to watch a pre-show to see a heel turn? Like, I don't get it. Can somebody make that make sense to me?
I don't know if I've ever seen something like that before. That just doesn't make any sense. What are you doing?
Well, let's use this for example, right? Let's say it's Roman and Cody from last year's WrestleMania, right? And they're a tag team on night one of WrestleMania taking on, I can't even remember who's the NXT Tag Team Champions now. Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo. I like those two guys, by the way. I enjoy their work. Same case here with Aussie Open. I've been a big fan of their work since New Japan. I think they're a really, really good tag team. But nobody gives a shit about Ring of Honor. You have the name, and you watch the show, and it's AEW Dark, just with Ring of Honor logos on it. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So to have that as a pre-show and that being the tool for the turn, I just, it's stupid. I don't know what else to say than just that. It's dumb. So, not as dumb as this feud with Chris Jericho and Don Callis. Don Callis can't figure out who he wants to feud with. 1 minute it's Olivier, the next is Jericho, and their 34 years of friendship, as if anybody gives a fuck. I will say that Will Ospreay saved the segment for me. I thought he told a good story. He said basically that he's better than everybody. The Elite, Punk, Danielson. He's not wrong. I mean, Will Ospreay is definitely one of the best top tier wrestlers out there right now. And he's doing this now for his stepson. You know, it's funny. He's actually doing an independent show the night before All In against Shingo Takagi. I think he's at the Rev Pro show, and it's gonna be pretty cool. Actually, I'm happy for Ospreay that he's getting the spotlight, but for him to go in there, he can't lose to Jericho. That's all I'm gonna say. He can't. That'll show you who has the power over this partnership with AEW and New Japan. That's all I'm gonna say. So,
you might be disappointed.
I might, and it's the premise that you need that Don Callis needs to bring Will Ospreay as a what do you call it? Like a mercenary, like a guy that gets paid off to attack people, right? A mercenary, and we'll see, man. Jericho said that he said this on Dynamite last night. He was like, "This is the biggest match of his career. This is bigger than any WrestleMania that he was on." I'm like, "What? Seriously?"
Yeah, he doesn't mean that.
Yeah. I thought it was funny. Like, he's like, "I'm doing this for all the social media dipshits who are trying to predict the end of my career." I'm glad you're acknowledging something, you freaking twat. But anyways, I just watched the show last night, and it's like, this show's not worth $50. I mean, you could tout all the numbers of the people that are going to the show, but the card is just there. I mean, I'm excited for Punk and Joe. I think it'll be a good match, obviously, but we've seen it already on Collision. FTR and the Young Bucks, for me, should be the main event of the show. But the rest is just there. Am I looking at it the wrong way? I mean, do you care that Darby and Sting are having a coffin match, tag team coffin match against Swerve and Christian Cage?
No.
I mean, here, I'll be positive here. Let me bring up something that really popped me yesterday from Dynamite, because Christian Cage is the trip, man. He has a infatuation with just talking about people's fathers and stuff. It's just fucked up, man. It really is. He's such a good heel, man. It really is. Let me find this here. Hold up. I got it right here, actually. Here we go. Christian Cage. You always have clues of, something bad's gonna happen. So when anytime he comes out with that fucking turtleneck, you know you're a good heel. When you come out with a turtleneck, you just look like a jackass. So here we go. This is what happened last night on Dynamite with Christian Cage and Nick Wayne.
Father, I'm not gonna go down that path because
And the actual TNT champion,
Darby
Luchasaurus.
Sting, are you gonna introduce me to your little friend? I think I know who this guy is. I heard a lot about you. Nick Wayne. It's nice to meet you in person finally, Nick. I've heard a lot about you. I heard about your story, and I understand that you have a father.
Oh, no.
And your father is dead.
Christian, get rid of him. Can we get rid of...
I also understand that your father was a professional wrestler. Well, I've never heard of your father, Buddy Wayne, before, so he must not have been very good.
Buddy Wayne's the man that trained Darby
The good
Allin.
news for you, though, Nick, is that because your father was such a talentless hack, you don't have a lot to live up to.
So fucked up, man. But that's the thing with wrestling, man. Like, I don't know, man. That's not possible, man.
I love Christian.
He's a trip. But again, it's just weird, like how you're gonna go from this Wembley show to the United Center pay-per-view the next weekend. I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah.
2 pay-per-views back-to-back weekends? I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like such a strange way to do things, but I mean, I'm not the leader of the company or anything, so.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on this. I haven't had a chance to talk with you about this for a while. Your thoughts on them still allowing Cash Wheeler to go to the UK, given his situation with him getting arrested recently. I get it that his passport was not taken away from him, but at what point do you put, oh, I need my 7-star match here, and actually focus on the optics that your company is going on? I mean, like, I'm not here accusing Cash Wheeler of anything, but to enable bad press is just odd to me.
You're going to have to inform me. I didn't know he got arrested.
Yeah, so this happened about a week and a half ago, and this is something that was a warrant that came out 3 weeks prior for a road rage incident where he pulled out a gun during the situation in Florida. Florida, go figure, right?
A Florida man.
Yeah, a Florida man. It's like, it's so weird. They made them the announcement that those guys were going to fight at the pay-per-view, right? And then, oh, here's footage of Cash Wheeler having to talk to a judge about a serious situation that went down. Again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but you don't know what happened with the situation yet you're going to still have this match and no consequences of anything. We have to have the match now. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tricky thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I think FTR and Young Bucks will have a good match. Despite my feelings on the Hardy Boys, those two matches with FTR have been good. I give credit where credit's due. But at what point do you put optics, then you fucking need to be the Booker of the Year and all this stupid shit?
Yeah, that's a rough position to, I won't lie. It's a tough position to be in. Do you pull the match or whatever? Because the first thing you're looking at is business, and business comes first. I mean, it always has, it always will. Whether he wants to put some kind of punishment on him down the line, maybe he's waiting for all the facts. I don't know. But yeah, that's a tough look for sure. Right.
So Dynamite wouldn't be Dynamite without a bunch of afterbirth brawls, Aubrey Edwards being a fucking delusional ref. I will say this, my favorite part of Dynamite last night was Billy Gunn coming out to make the save for the Acclaim. They'll be fighting the House of Black in a trios match for their titles at All In. And I thought his promo was pretty good too, actually. So I thought those were good. The MJF Adam Cole sit-down interviews with Renee were good. But, of course, it's Renee on TV, so, of course, it's a good visual. And then, what else? Believe it or not, you're going to be surprised to hear this from me. I actually enjoyed the first Jon Moxley match in 2023.
Oh, my. Where's the applause sound effect? Yeah! He's got it on deck!
It happened, and I have to thank Ray Phoenix for it. Seriously, it's so crazy how much Jon Moxley has regressed overall in 2023, but that match last night was pretty good. But besides, again, I just had this feeling where it's like, okay, I think it's cool, the whole thing. Oh, we got 8,000 people. I heard it like 50 different times last night. We got 8,000 people, but I don't know. Do I feel like the company's, we're back to being a legitimate threat? No, I don't. You're up. Here's my look at AEW. You're a more upscale version of TNA. That's what it is.
TNA with more money.
TNA with more money and a WWE rehab center. That's what it is. Yep. So, really quick, is there any AEW thoughts you wanted to share? Do you like Collision? Is there anything you wanted to mention here?
I'll tell you what. I watched one episode of Collision. I can't even get through an episode of Dynamite, man, and these guys want me to watch Collision? I can't do it.
No.
No, I can't.
Poor Rampage is at Velocity.
Oh, God. Well, we saw that coming a mile away. Look what time it comes on. Look what day it comes on, you know?
Of course. Are you ready to hear my Excrement impression as I run down this card?
Oh, yeah. I look forward to it every time.
There's 11 matches on this card, by the way, so wish me luck.
Hang on, let me break out the stopwatch here. Let's see.
All right.
You All right, start whenever you're ready.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming to you live from Wembley Stadium this Sunday. It's AEW All In live on pay-per-view. Get your pay-per-view. Go to your local Dave & Buster's and get the AEW right now on Fight TV right now on AEW Plus. On the 0 hour, we have the FCW Championship match. It's Jack Perry against Hook. And the main event of 0 hour, it's for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. It's Aussie Open taking on a team of Better Than You, baby. MJF and Adam Cole. From there, we have FTR putting their AEW World Tag Team titles against the Young Bucks. The 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. It's Hikaru Shida taking on Toni Storm, Saraya, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. It's the Coffin match. Darby Allin and Sting taking on Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. And from there, we have a trios match. It's the Golden Elite. Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hangman Page taking on the team of Who Gives a Fuck About Me, Kanose Takesha, and Bullet Club Gold members Juice Robinson and Jay White. From there, it's Football Fuckery International Edition Stadium Stampede. It's Eddie Kingston, Pockets, Fuck Taylor, and Trent Beretta and Penta taking on the team of the Blackpool Cuckold Club and Santana Ortiz. From there, we have a special grudge match. Will Ospreay taking on the Demo God, Chris Jericho. The match here for the real World Championship is CM Punk against Samoa Joe. And for the AEW World Trio Championships, it's the House of Black taking on Billy Gunn and Acclaim. And our main event for the AEW World Championship, it's MJF taking on Adam Cole. Get your tickets right now at AEWTIX.com. That's AEWTIX.com.
Yeah! Hell yeah. You got a minute 46.
Oh, that's awesome. That's tremendous.
Well done. That was excellent. You popped me so hard. Oh, tremendous.
But seriously, who gives a shit about Takesha?
Wonderful.
No. God, I love this show.
Oh, so much fun.
Well, I don't know what's more fitting to wrap up this segment this week, but to mention that Tony Khan said that Sting's having the best run of his career right now in AEW, which I just thought is fucking hilarious.
Come on. Really?
Yeah. And I'm on pins and needles for Tony Khan to dodge gazillion questions about whether or not the Punk and Elite are going to get along with each other. Hey, you got a football team. Let's have a bunch of burials because fucking grown-ass man can't handle their own issues. So hopefully no fights break out this weekend in London.
Well, if there is, though, we'll certainly have something to talk about, won't we?
Yeah, the best thing about this pay-per-view coming up on Sunday is the fact that it's early during the day. So, yeah, the 0 hour starts at noon Chicago time, I believe. For those, no, actually 11 o'clock for the pre-show, and then noon is the start of the show. So, check it out there. I'll make quick predictions here on my end. I have Aussie Open win. I think Adam Cole will be the one to turn on MJF. I got Hook beating Jack Perry. Jack Perry has no charisma. He cannot match what his father brought to the camera screens. I think FTR will lose to the Young Bucks, unfortunately, due to this situation. I have the beautiful Saraya getting her title from Shida. I think Shida will be a transitional champion. I have Swerve and Christian Cage. No, actually I have Darby and Sting winning the Coffin match. Sting never loses in AEW. I have the Golden Elite against the Who Gives a Fuck About Me Bullet Club edition. And then I got BCC probably winning that dumb Stadium Stampede match. Ospreay over Jericho. Punk retains against Joe. I think House of Black retains over the Acclaim. And Adam Cole will lose to MJF, and then they'll have a rematch the following week at All Out. So those are my predictions. No. By the way, there's only 2 matches announced for this United Center show. It's Darby Allin against Luchasaurus. My bad, Dino Douche. And then it's Miro against Powerhouse Hobbs. That should be a pretty good match, actually. Brother, I think you're muted.
Yep,
Yeah.
all I was saying was that should be a pretty good one.
Yeah. Well, we're on pins and needles for the next Tony Khan media scrum after this pay-per-view on Sunday, right? Sam's facial expression says it all. And on that note, that is what the hell is wrong with AEW?
What can go wrong will go wrong.
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Nope.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, before we say goodbye on this fun episode of the podcast, I know it was very heavy in the beginning part of the show, but we wanted to give our condolences and our gratitude and flowers out to Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Your memories will last forever, guys. But before we head out here, we have a segment that we do each week, and the guy who helped me create the segment is here, actually. So it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the CLAHN of the week. Let's check this out.
I'm not CLAHN. Constant CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN. CLAHN.
I can't do a repeat of the White Sox. It's just too easy of a pick for me to do the White Sox. I can't. I got.
How about Jim Irsay?
Jim Irsay, the stuff with Jonathan Taylor is definitely a worthy pick. You know what? I got one. I'm going to give it to Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark this week.
Good one.
Stephen A. Talking out of place, talking about that Lonzo Ball can't sit up. You seen this video?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, so that's one out there. That's just bad sourcing and all that. Also, Ryan Clark questioning Tua Tagovailoa's work ethic. That's the thing, man. He may not like what a player does or thinks he's not good at a job, but questioning the guy's work ethic like that, I don't know.
The guy made it to the NFL. Like, how do you question somebody's work ethic that's made it that far?
Well, isn't there like a moral code with anybody that's played football? I played football before, and even like that, you keep stuff in the locker room, and you don't talk about other people's work ethic like that, especially when you're getting paid gazillion bucks by people who never played football before, and now
you may as well just be spitting in the man's face.
So I'm gonna give it to a combo platter of Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark for the CLAHN of the week.
CLAHNs.
I'm not CLAHN. Constant CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
All right, guys, we're gonna put a ribbon on the bow in this week's edition of the Hoots Podcast, man. Episode 375. We're 25 episodes away from reaching episode 400. I appreciate each and every single one of you who came out. We had a lot of interaction, a lot of different viewers during this live stream, so I appreciate you guys. If you guys could do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode of the Hoots Podcast. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel so we can get up to 1,000. That's our goal. We're currently at 470, I think, right now, so we're getting closer and closer. So we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And also, check out the audio edition of the podcast on Spotify. If you could check it out and share it with your friends, that would help us a lot because we need to get 100 Spotify listeners to qualify for ambassador ads. So if you guys could do this favor for me, it doesn't cost you any money just to share a couple links out to people. That's it. Press play on a couple episodes, and it really would help us out a lot. So I appreciate the support. You can follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots Podcast. I'm at Instagram at Joshie Lopez Media. That's pretty much it for plugs for me. Sam, really quick, let everybody know where they can find you in the world of social media.
Find my lovely social media account, my X account, not Twitter, my X account at Second City Sam, Same thing with Instagram. Same thing with everything. Find me at Second City Sam. You probably won't regret it, or you might, depending on how you feel about certain things. So,
brother, I'm appreciative of you for coming on, man. I know this hasn't been an easy week for you, and my thoughts are with you and your family, obviously. And
Thank you.
I appreciate you, your brotherhood for all these years and being supportive and all that. It's always a blast shooting the shit with you, man. And I hope sooner or later we can do this in person and hang out more. And I appreciate you, my man.
For sure, man. I really appreciate you having me on. This has been a good release for me. It's like you said, it's been a hell of a couple of weeks, and this actually really helped me out a lot. So I appreciate it. Shout
out to Joe. The sentiment is appreciated here, man.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Sam, I love you, man. I love each and every one of you for rocking with us, man. Especially for episodes like this, when situations like this go down. I know a lot of people would be uncomfortable recording a podcast, but I think this is when we're at our best, when situations like this go down. We have some real authentic conversations, man. And I just want, as I always say, man, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs, man. You gotta be present. Appreciate what you have, and difficult things are gonna come and go, and you're gonna be tested and a lot of that, and we're gonna have bad days. I'm not gonna be naive to think we're gonna have bad days and everything is rainbows and butterflies. It's not. But even the times when you're being tested, that's where your character shows. And no matter if you're dealing with the loss of a family member or a friend or a relationship or losing your job, whatever the situation is, man, you got to keep yourself strong, because you're going to keep yourself whole, not anybody else. Just remember that, okay? So I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be here next week to recap. Hopefully a good show. Hey, 80,000 people doesn't guarantee it's going to be a good pay-per-view, but that's just my opinion. But we'll be here to check it out, and then we'll do a preview for Payback next week too. So for Sam, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 375 of the Hoots Podcast, and we'll talk to you morose motherfuckers later. Yes, sir.